Alright, so I've been trying to do some research. I got this 07 Cadillac Escalade ESV. It's got a Texas Speed Stage 1 LS3 cam, stainless long tubes, 2-inch drop spindles, air ride delete in the ass end. It's got IBOC, sway bars. I got it dyno tuned. It made 370 horsepower to the tires and 367 pound-feet of torque to the tires. And this particular truck is all-wheel drive all the time, and it is wearing out every component underneath as far as drive shaft, rear diff, front diff, the actual rubber bushings, and the transfer case. It's got 189,000 miles on it, and it's just not really been maintained. I'm pretty sure it's the original transfer case, and I don't think the bushings have ever been changed. It still has the factory U-joints that actually have little neoprene still in them. So long story short, what I'm trying to do today is I'm pulling the transfer case out of it to swap in a different transfer case. This truck has a Borg 4485 unit in it, which is full-time locked all-wheel drive. No matter what, it's always in four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And it's a 32 spline unit, and I've been doing my research. I found that there's a MP1222 unit that came in 6L80E trucks, like Silverado 1500s, that came behind 6L80s and their manual shift transfer case. And then I found in the old 2002 Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs and 3500 HDs that they used an MP261 HD unit, and it's a floor shift manual shift transfer case, and it's a 32 spline unit. So anyways, I'm trying to swap in the NP261 HD unit, so that way I actually have two-wheel drive, 4 low and 4 high. I'm kind of sick of the all-wheel drive all the time, and I'm kind of tired of the driveline clunk. It has a horrible back and forth motion, and like I said, I'm sure it's just the case is worn out and could be rebuilt and be fine, but I'm going to try and change it up and do something different. I'll have to make some sort of linkage inside the vehicle, but anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. So the first thing I did to make sure that the drive shafts fit, I went up to a salvage yard today and found an 02 or 03 Silverado 3500 HD. It was a single cab long bed dually truck, and I picked up an MP261 HD transfer case out of it for 175 bucks, which I stole it. But all the research in the world doesn't tell you whether or not a 261 HD transfer case is going to fit an 07 Escalade. So I pulled the drive shaft out of my Escalade, just the 4 bolts that hold the U-joint in, and I slid this slip yoke into the new transfer case, and it fit right in. That's the front drive shaft. And then the rear shaft, I pulled it out, and it fit right into the back of the transfer case too. So as far as that goes, it should be the same. I've looked at the part numbers for the actual extension housing seal, or the gasket, and it's the same part number for the 6L80E Escalade and the 4L80E transfer case. The only thing I'm worried about is the input on the new transfer case. Hopefully it's the right spline. Everywhere I've read, it said that they're 32 splines, so it should be fine. It might be a little long. If it is, then I can cut it. If it's too short, then obviously it's not going to work. But I'm going to go ahead and get the transfer case out and see what I can do to get this swapped out. So like I said, here's the 4 bolts for the sway bar. I had to take it loose because it has an aftermarket sway bar, and then the U-joint caps on the front. And let's see what we got. I went ahead and took the drain plug out of the rear of it, just so I wasn't making a mess and drained the fluid, but of course all the preparation in the world still doesn't get every drop. But yeah, as you can see here on the back of my unit, that it's a 4485 unit, and it is a 2006 transfer case, Borg Warner. I don't see any real wiring harness as far as an output shaft speed sensor goes. Main reason being this is a locked unit. It's all-wheel drive all the time. So I don't think I'm going to have any problems with the speedometer working. But like I said, I'm going to have to find out. So far, I've got the rear drive shaft out. I've got the front drive shaft out. I got to take these 2 bolts out of the cross member, those 2 bolts out. And then there's your extension housing bolts, which go up and around, obviously the extension housing. There's 2 bolts here on this mount, and then there's 2 bolts inside of this pocket here. And then that's it. After I take that out, I should be able to drop it on the ground and measure the input shaft and see if it's going to work. But yeah, as far as my drive shaft goes, this fits the new transfer case, and the drive shaft that goes in here on the front, it fits the front of the transfer case on the NP261 unit. So far it seems like it's going to work. I just have to see if the output shaft on my 6L80E will fit a transfer case from a 4L80E.